Welcome to the Shatter Point. I'm your host, Forrest Windu. Today, we'll be continuing our series on the 5 stages of red pill grief. Now, this is the third installment, third part, and we'll be dealing today with bargaining. In case you're wondering why I decided to apply the stages of grief, the Kubler-Ross model of the grief stages to the red pill, is because ultimately the red pill means just facing truth, just waking up to the world around you and accepting it as it is. And it is probably one of the most apropos or appropriate, I should say, exercises or concepts that we need to deal with in the manosphere. So that's why I decided to do that. And I don't know that it's been addressed as specifically as this, and I hope that others will continue to work and deal with it, because it is it's important for our emotional well-being moving forward and psychological well-being moving forward, whether it be in this space or otherwise. So today, the third installment is about bargaining. As with all of the stages of grief, it is dealing with things that have already happened. Grief is about loss, perceived or not. Perceived loss in the sense of you recognize that maybe someone passed away, someone died, or maybe even. And the reason I'm touching on it this way is because in the red pill space, and the way I've been trying to frame this, I want us to comprehend that there are things that we missed out and losses that we've suffered that we may not have necessarily recognized until we became red pill. You know, I talked about denial, I talked about recognizing our family of origin issues through that, and finally seeing through the lens of dysfunction, of health and clarity, the dysfunction that we've come from and had to overcome to get to where we are. Anger, touched on it in the same concept, but the next stage, which would be just being angry about the loss that you suffer, being angry about limited access, being angry about the way you've been treated, and then why, what the roots of those things are. So, with this third stage, bargaining, you're really trying to change the past. Bargaining in the grief work is an attempt in your mind or even in your actions to change what has already happened, to unlose what you have lost, or to unexperience what you have experienced prior to. And when you have that sense, that is really where the ultimate form of powerlessness comes in, because you can't negotiate with the past. We'd like to at times, if only we had known then what we know now. If only we had known then how to make good decisions in a certain area, or how to go about something more intelligently. And you know, there is a place for failure. I'm a firm believer that failure can teach us a lot more sometimes than our successes. At the very least, it could teach us how to begin again more intelligently. But the problem with the stages of grief is we're dealing with loss, not necessarily failure. Although you can apply failures to loss, and sometimes failures can cause loss, but we're really just talking about the overall grief of loss and trying to change that outcome all from the future looking back, which is impossible. It's impossible to change the past. All you can do is change the future. And one thing I notice is that this is cyclical. This is the third stage of bargaining, where it triggers us to deny what has happened. It triggers us to be angry about what has already happened. And then we deny again, and then we bargain and pray for things to be different than they were. And it can never be. It can never be. Moving forward with the bargaining process, or trying to change the future, which is more effective and certainly more healthy and actually possible, because you can't change the past. You'll try to make better decisions moving forward. You try to negotiate your relationships in a different way. I see that in the manosphere. I see how, for a long time, the concept of men and women getting back and coming back to the table to negotiate their roles, negotiate their responsibilities, negotiate their interactions in a more mutually beneficial way. That was one of the hopes, but I think that also is that's a form of bargaining. Unfortunately, is proving to be bargaining in this sense of grief. And what I mean by that is, as we continue to wage these conversations ad nauseum, what I'm seeing is that the change that we're hoping for has to have already happened in order for us to benefit from it. The change that we need to see needs to have happened already for us to benefit from it. But we're trying to bargain our way through it, I think. I think we're in denial about what this, we keep running in this circle. We're denying that it is actually as bad as it is, or and then we get angry because we see that it is as bad as it is. And then beyond that, we even, we now are trying to bargain with the past, because the past, unfortunately, is what led us to where we are now. So I'm not going to make this too long, and I'm not going to go into all kind of different ways that we bargain from the present. But I thought it was important, because this is the one where we get tripped up, and we can go into a loop. The loop of denial, the loop of anger, and then finally back to bargaining, trying to change the past, which already happened, which is futile. It's a powerless state. It's a state where you're bound to be disappointed. And it definitely can lead to the next stage, which we'll be talking in the next video. It's called depression. So with that, I just wanted to touch on this third stage. This stage is much more complicated in some ways than what I'm alluding to in this video, but I think it's so personally applied, because each situation of bargaining is as individual as the people who are dealing with the form of grief. So I would just simply say that you can't change the past. All you can do is change the future by moving forward, by making a new decision, by changing your mind, changing your attitude, changing your approach. But you can't live in the past. If only, I wish if it only had all of these, it's regretful. It's almost like living backwards. And you can't live backwards. Even if you did revisionist history, the facts don't change. Just a story. So with that, I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Please, on your way out, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please leave a comment down below. And until next time, may the force be with you.